Hey there friends, David Paulides, Can-Am Missing Project. And this is Huck L. No, not E-L. Like L like Lincoln. Huck L, and Lincoln is not the middle name. Huck L. Berry, that is her name. And she is the princess that she wants to be called. She says, Dad, you always show that picture. That's me when I was looking good that day. I was all primped up. And she is in the prime of life right now because temperatures are dropping. We got up in the morning, it was 30 degrees. We went outside. It's like someone flipped a switch on her. She looked around and goes, oh my gosh. The snow in the mountaintops again. It's going to be freezing cold. I'm so happy. Yeah. She is so happy. So, that's Huck. Talk about her if she woofs or something, but hopefully she'll maintain our decorum that we need here on this program, of course. Now, today, before we get right into it, which we will, I want to talk to you about the channel. Drastic drop in viewers. Drastic. 50% in the last 3 weeks. And what I want you to do is make sure that you're subscribed. At least 100 people every week notify me that they're not getting notifications that a new video's up. But friends, there's thousands out there right now that are subscribed that aren't getting them, but they don't know they're not getting them. They're just going on with their life thinking, oh, I guess Dave's not posting anymore. How do I know that? Because I have 490,000 subscribers and only 20,000 are watching every week. Yeah. And we knew that this would be a stimulant to see if games are being played. And it's obvious it is. We posted a trailer for my new movie. Yeah. Now, many of you haven't probably even heard of it. American Sasquatch, Man, Myth, or Legend. The trailer went up a few days ago. Now, why is that important? Because I know everybody in the world would watch that trailer. But it's getting almost no views. And I have posted it on 6 Facebook pages. I posted it on a Twitter where I have 65,000 followers. You tell me that some games aren't being played. I know it. I can't do anything about it. It's frustrating. The only thing I could do is ask you to post that trailer on every bit of social media that you have. And it breeds a lot of good questions from people. And this is really what I like. People will say something like, oh, you know what, it's nothing but an ape or a gorilla. About 2 sentences, I'll clear it up. Well, we probably have several thousand hair samples, and those hairs went to hair and fiber experts to testify in court, and they would testify that the hair is not classified as any mammal known on Earth. So it's obviously no ape or gorilla. Giddy up. Because if it was an ape or a gorilla, the hair would match. Giddy up. We've talked about a couple of young people that have disappeared lately. One in Australia, one in Alberta. There are some real lowlifes out there, folks. I mean, real scumbag lowlifes. Some people posted the other day, oh, they found so-and-so just the other day. What are you posting about them? Of course, they were lying. It's the kind of people that watch YouTube sometimes and like to post and just cause turmoil on our channel. And of course, I just blocked them and we went on our way. Giddy up. Now, the cases today. First one, California. And it involves a young lady named Sunshine Borjas. 47 years old, went missing October 1st of this year, 2025, at 1:30 in the afternoon. Weirdly, she was born in Fresno, since we've talked about Fresno 1,000 times in the last month because of Dinky Creek. She was born in Fresno, and she was a twin. She had a brother named Stephen. She was raised in California, and prior addresses include Fresno, Clovis, and Merced. And at the present time, she was living in Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa is a super nice community. Just inland from the coast, north of San Francisco, on your way to the wine country. Beautiful area. She was living and she shared her home with her brother. On October 1st at about 1:30, she told family members that she was going to get in her car and do a 30-minute drive to a place called Bodega Head at Bodega Bay to do a hike. Unbelievably gorgeous place. It's a place I would go to hike if I lived anywhere near it. Now this is Bodega Bay, a famous harbor north of San Francisco, not that far north. Just south down in here is Point Reyes National Seashore and Point Reyes National Park. Bodega Head is right here. What you do is you park your car, you come out here, and all the way up and all the way back is about a 4-mile loop. This area out in here, unbelievably pretty. It's got cliffs. It's safe to walk out there, but you will have views of the ocean that you will never forget. Again, it's in Bodega Bay. This is a harbor. Really, really nice area to go. Perfect place to go on a hike, spend an afternoon. So, to give you some association, Point Reyes National Park right here, Bodega Head right here. San Francisco down in this area right here. Got it? So it's about a 30-minute drive for her from her house to Bodega Head. Everyone knew where she was going. It wasn't a secret. Said she'd be back that night. So you have Bodega Harbor on one side, and you have the Pacific Ocean on the other side of this peninsula. And the peninsula is just south of a place called Bodega Dunes. Again, gorgeous. You can hike up the coast. You got these little pockets of coves with little beaches and things. During the spring and the fall, there's migrations of gray whales that you can see, and you can spot them from the cliffs out there. Now, I've been there before, and there are people out there all the time during the migration periods with binoculars watching the whales. And you can see them spouting water, and it's unbelievable. The dirt trail is narrow, slightly overgrown in some spots, and there's a lot of mountain bike riders that go out there, but it's primarily for hiking. And there's signs all over that say, "No dogs allowed." Huck didn't like that. She thinks that's discriminatory. Now, the weather in this area is often foggy, which inhibits the views. And the water in this region, you don't want to go in it. Very cold. Gets down into the high 40s to the mid 50s, and it really never gets warmer than that. And the visibility in the water is never really that good until you go north, another hour and a half drive to the far northern California coast, and then it starts getting better. But then you have to deal with big sharks. Yeah, great whites. I've dove up north of this location for abalone diving, and I tried not to think of it. Abalone diving was fantastic, but so Sunshine left at 1:30 in the afternoon on October 1st. That night at midnight, her family reports her missing. They call law enforcement. Santa Rosa Police Department come to the house. That's where she lived. And they give her the description of her car. They said exactly where she was going, when she would be back, and her cell phone number. People had been trying to call her. Nobody was getting anything. So Santa Rosa police sent a car out to the location, and they found her car. It was undisturbed, parked exactly where they thought that it would be. The family said that they didn't think she was going to meet anybody there. She was just going to go out and hike. So they found the car. They immediately called the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office, which had jurisdiction in that area. Now, she went missing from her house. Technically, she went missing from Sonoma County, where her car was. In these kind of incidents, it could have been Sonoma County to take the report, or Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa took the report, called Sonoma County for mutual aid, and a search. Sonoma County responded out, met with Santa Rosa at Bodega Head, and they realized they're going to need a search and rescue call-up, which they did. This is a picture of Sunshine. She wasn't a big lady, 5'5", and they stated that she was wearing black sneakers, leggings, and a t-shirt. Not a lot of clothing. The Sonoma County Sheriff did something very smart. And sometimes it takes a little work. But what they did is they found out from the family who her cell phone provider was. They contacted them. They declared an emergency, meaning somebody's missing, they need help, and they needed her phone pinged. The cell provider provided the details and stated that the best they could tell, the last time the phone pinged off a tower was at 6:30 the night of October 1st on that trail somewhere. Now, why would they be so vague? Actually, they're not being vague. When you have a location like this, the Pacific Ocean's out here, there's no towers out here. So you got to work off towers on the coast. So it's very difficult to triangulate the exact location when you only have towers on the coast and your point is off the coast. But they were able to say that she was on that trail, and it was at 6:30 at night. Now, when I heard that, I got worried. She left at 1:30. 30-minute drive out there. 2 o'clock she gets there. Starts hiking. 2-mile hike out, a 2-mile hike back, round trip. So, if you're kind of lollygagging along, let's say it took you 2 hours to get out to the point. Well, that means that she'd be out there at 5 o'clock at the point. Looks around, starts to come back because it's going to start to get dark soon. They said that she was on the trail at 6:30. I think 4 hours to do that loop is too long. I think 3 hours, even at a slow pace, would be enough, which would make her off that trail at 6:30. She should have been off at 6, in my humble opinion. So why did it ping on that trail at 6:30? That worries me a bit. They never found the phone, by the way. So on October 2nd, the Sonoma County Sheriffs make a call up. And they called right away for the U.S. Coast Guard to dispatch a boat and to cruise the coast around that point, and a helicopter to check the land. She was wearing a gray shirt, not great for sticking out from the sky, gray leggings, gray shirt, gray leggings, black sneakers. The helicopter from the sky wasn't finding anything. October 3rd, Sonoma County had ground pounders doing grid searches of the area around the car. And they had multiple canine teams working close to the trail. They actually closed the trail for part of this time. And they have the multiple canine teams that they had working, none of them picked up anything that led to a body or her. October 4th, the search effort continued with nothing being found. The sheriff's search coordinator stated that they were very puzzled, that was his word, puzzled, with the lack of evidence they found of her being there. You can take that two ways. I would doubt seriously that an abduction would take place at this location. Why? Limited avenues going back to the car. Too much of a chance somebody would see you if you were wrestling with a woman or something. Too high risk. That I just don't see. October 5th, they had 50 to 60 searchers on the ground, up to 80 daily. I watched a local television station from ABC 7 in San Francisco that showed searchers combing the fields in the area. And they were doing a thorough job. October 6th, the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office announced that they had found nothing and were suspending the search. I understand why. It's a rather short time. Where could she be? Now, people would say, maybe she fell off the cliff. Possible. But when you fall off a cliff, you don't fall into the middle of the ocean. You fall into the rocks below. And I think she would have been found. Unless there were extreme high tides. And there's no mention of that. During my work the last several years, I have two women that have disappeared from hiking areas near Point Reyes. I have two other women that disappeared within a week time span from one park in this area of the California coast. All within this area of the California coast. So, Point Reyes, 2 people. Inland 2, no, I should say that. Point Reyes, 2 women. Inland 2 women, another woman. Now, the span of this is about 20 years. Do I think it's a serial killer? No. Why not? Because the areas that these women disappeared in, there wasn't a lot of ground cover. There was a lot of grass. Some of the areas weren't near the water. And as I've stated before, you can't carry 180 pounds, 160 pounds, 150 pounds on your shoulder long. And if anybody ever saw you doing that, they would immediately call the sheriff. So nobody's ever seen that. Nobody thinks that that's happened. Nobody's ever reported that happening. Yet the bodies of 3 out of the 5 women have never been found. The other 2 inland at the same park within a short time frame of each other, the coroner stated they died of hypothermia, which made no sense at all. I've written about this in my books. So this area has high intrigue to me. And when I heard about Sunshine's disappearance, it all fit within the parameters of these other disappearances. Now, this is Sunshine. Got a twin brother, Steve, still lives in Santa Rosa, lived with her at her house. I did an online search of her. I couldn't figure out what she did for work. but there was very little online socially about her. 47 years old, born in Fresno. And I'm sure right now her family is having one heck of a time trying to grapple with the disappearance in a sheriff's office that gave up after 4 or 5 days. All right, next incident involves a man named Dale Jacob Higley. This was forwarded to me by you. I greatly appreciate it. If you know about a disappearance in your area that fits the Missing 411 profile, send it to me at missing411@yahoo.com. So Dale, this is Dale. Now, I didn't plan this. And when I was working this up, I almost fell out of my chair when I thought, oh, this is weird. Dale Jacob Higley, 47 years old, just like Sunshine. No, I didn't plan this. Went missing September 7th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Optimum time to disappear, 4 p.m. He was born and raised in Michigan and lived in a place called Fredonia Township. Dale was a hard worker, and he had a successful business. He still had it, and he's had it for many years. It was a tree company. You know, cut down trees, trim trees, big trees. He owned his own home on a street called 15.5 Mile Road near Marshall, Michigan. The residence was in Calhoun County, east of Benton Harbor in Lake Michigan. Why am I saying that? Well, if you're new, you know that the Great Lakes have high strangeness associated with them. Benton Harbor specifically has high strangeness associated with it. And this location is just east of there. So on September 7th at 2:30 p.m., Dale had a grand mal seizure. He's an epileptic. And he had the seizure in front of his 6-year-old daughter, who he was home alone with. I can only imagine the fright that went into that poor girl seeing her dad in seizures. If you've never seen anybody in a full grand mal seizure, it will freak you out. I've seen it many times as a policeman, and I can never get over seeing it. And the sad thing is, there's really not a lot you can do with somebody who's having a seizure. Monitor it, make sure that they're not going to hit their head, make sure that they don't get anything into them ingestible as they're having the seizure. Well, the parents, Dale and his wife, did something right, because during the seizure, this little 6-year-old girl gets on the phone and calls her mother. That is brilliant. A good lesson for every parent out there. As soon as your child is old enough, you teach them to call 911 or call their mother or father. Brilliant. So she calls the little girl. And she reported to her mom what she's seeing. And I can only imagine what she's trying to say is happening. So at about 3 o'clock, the seizure, or a little 2:45 or so, the seizure ends. Dale gets himself up. And he's wearing a pair of jeans and his tree service orange t-shirt. And he's barefoot. Now, there's only the 6-year-old girl there. And reports said he left the house disoriented. I don't know how they knew that, because I'm not sure the girl could explain it, but he left the home and left the girl there alone. When relatives arrived, Dale was gone. And they classified that as extremely unusual behavior. I can imagine. The Michigan police, or the Calhoun County Sheriff was called. They came because now they got a missing person and they couldn't find Dale. Michigan police had several units go into the area. One person go and take the report. And just down the street from the house, someone reported seeing Dale walking down the middle of the street. No shoes, just pants and a shirt. At 6 p.m., a Michigan State Police helicopter flew over the area. And the Calhoun County sheriffs were driving around in their cars trying to find somebody walking on the roadway. Seemed like a good plan. The helicopter could take the area off the road and they could take the road. The next day, there's a full-blown search and rescue. Several bodies of water are located just to the east of Dale's home. So his home sits on the roadway right here. And just to the east, there's bodies of water. And the sheriff searched him and didn't find Dale anywhere in that area, nor did anybody see him going towards that area. They saw him on the roadway near the house. But I found it interesting that out of the whole area, the bodies of water are right there near his home. So there's the township he lives in, just south of the city of Marshall. There's Benton Harbor, South Bend, Indiana, the border, South Haven. Now, I'm telling you right now, this area, high strangeness over the years. Very high strangeness. So you got a man, reliable, trustworthy, has had his own business for a long time, never had any problems, knew he was epileptic, and bam, has a major seizure and walks off. September 9th, the search and rescue pushed outwards from his home. They continued the grid search in a methodical fashion. He had no money with him, no vehicle keys, no bank accounts. End of the day, nothing. September 10th, friends and family get together and they decide that they're going to search all the soybean fields, corn fields, grassy areas, swamps, bogs, wetlands. They had a big crew. They also brought in drones, ATVs. Law enforcement used canines again. And the Department of Natural Resources brought in a full crew to assist in the organization. They did a good job. All the reports said that they covered a lot of area. They got nothing. September 11th, 80 searchers on scene. It was reported that the Calhoun County Sheriff and the Michigan State Police were searching separate areas that they never stated where they were. I thought that was a little odd. If they have a suspect, were they searching the property? They never said. At the end of the day, Calhoun County stated that they had found nothing and we're going to start slowing down the search and rescue functions. And over the following days, slowly the resources crept down to almost nothing. Then on September 18th, they stated that the searches were going to go on a limited basis. They asked residents to check their doorbell cams, closed-circuit TV, outbuildings, and they specifically stated that Dale was no threat to the public. Why did they even need to say that? I mean, he's just a missing person. But the sheriff went on to describe Dale as very friendly and a nice, helpful person. If anyone ever needed anything, if he could help, he'd be there. Now, the location where he disappeared from. I think it's important to understand kind of the community. Now, Fredonia Township is in Calhoun County, Michigan. And it's part of that greater Battle Creek metro statistical area. Population in 2020, 1,985 people. Directly west of Fredonia Township is Benton Harbor. We talked about it. Now, I want you to ask yourself this. Why would a father walk out of his home with no shoes, down a roadway, leaving his 6-year-old daughter home alone, and just disappear into nothingness? I don't believe any responsible father would do that ever. And there was never one iota of a claim that Dale was anything other than a responsible father. Thank goodness his daughter was able to get on the phone and call mom. I've told you before that there's many people in that missing 411 profile that have an illness or injury that when you look at them, you never know. And epilepsy is one of those. You never know by looking at Dale that he had that condition. Yet a lot of people that disappear have these kind of mysterious kind of conditions. Now, what truly, my mind went to it, and I'll admit it, is the X-File episodes where the people are summoned. And they're asked to come, they're like directed to come to a location, and when they get there, they're gone. Now, they had a Michigan State helicopter there with FLIR hours after Dale disappeared. I guarantee if he was anywhere in that area, FLIR would have lit him up like a Roman candle. I've seen it. I've worked at FLIR before on helicopters. Friends, you have this screen and you have all these fields. And then right in the middle of the field is a person and you can't miss them. So, what does that tell me? Hours after Dale disappeared, he wasn't there. And that helicopter can cover a lot of ground quickly. Why? Because as you're slowly flying over the fields and the roadway, if there's a person there, they're going to light up. So you can move across pretty quick, cover a lot of area. So if Dale wasn't there, where was he? Now, this happened in very early September. He hasn't been found. Where is he? What happened to him? This isn't like somebody who was targeted for a killing because he was a bad guy. No. This is a good guy who disappeared under extremely unusual circumstances. I cannot think of another episode when I was in law enforcement where I responded to an epileptic seizure where the person wandered away. I don't remember that ever happening. After a grand mal seizure, people are usually so exhausted that it takes them several minutes, if not a half an hour, to even recover enough to get up and start moving. And usually we have them transported to the hospital. So to think he got up and wandered miles, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So, Sunshine Borjas, Santa Rosa, California, October 1st, 2025. Dale Jacob Higley, September 7th, 2025. Fredonia Township, Michigan. Kindness. Friends, it seems like every day I wake up, humanity is conflicted some way. People are doing something to someone. I don't like to bring it up, but I'm going to. A couple weeks ago, there was a girl riding a train in the Carolinas, minding her own business. And somebody reaches around from behind her and stabs her to death. She's coming back from working at a Subway shop. Just barely making it. Just a 1,000,000 to 1 shot. She got on that train. If she would have waited 10 minutes, that guy behind her wouldn't have been on that train. The juncture of where these incidents happen are so random. That really made me sad. I thought, if I was on that train, I would have had to have helped, because I couldn't have lived with myself if I didn't. Kindness. We were meant to help each other. We just were. We weren't meant to kill each other. So when you see somebody in need, help them. Somebody wrote to me the other day that they were in line at a store and this old person dropped a bunch of things on the ground, and this villager jumped down and helped this lady. And the lady said, no, you don't have to help me. No, I don't have to help you. I want to help you. And there is the kindness revolution. Costs nothing to be kind. Nothing. And if we can all just do that a little bit, maybe everyone's mental health will improve a little bit. Huck's almost snoring right here. I really thank you for being here. Make sure you're still subscribed. Check. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. In the meantime, be kind. Be safe. Paulides out.